The Mariners just made another trade, this one with the Toronto Blue Jays, and you all know it was coming. And it's Justin Turner. It's not Vladimir Guerrero Jr. The Mariners are acquiring 39-year-old Justin Turner from the Toronto Blue Jays for outfielder and 29th overall ranked prospect R.J. Schreck. So let's just talk a little bit about the chain of events here. Shai Davidi, who is a Blue Jays beat writer, said Blue Jays just pulled Justin Turner from the game bottom 2. He singled in his first plate appearance. I quote tweeted that and said, makes a decent amount of sense for the Mariners, though not my favorite choice. And literally, okay, so I tweeted that at 101, right? At literally 101, as I sent that tweet, Ken Rosenthal tweeted Mariners acquire Justin Turner. Again, Turner is 39 years old, on the year in 89 games. He's hitting 254, 349, 371 with a 720 OPS and a 106 OPS plus. He has 6 home runs and 31 RBI. Now, Turner throughout his career has been a great player, a 124 career OPS guy, but again, he is 39 years old. He signed to a 1-year deal with the Toronto Blue Jays, so the Mariners only have him for the rest of the season. He is a rental. He runs a below average strikeout rate this year at 17.3% and a walk rate at 11.2%, so great numbers there for Justin Turner. In terms of his positional versatility here, Justin Turner has played 71 games as a DH this year, 5 at third base and 11 at first base. Now, I was on the phone with Joe right after this trade went down as he's driving up here right now, and we talked a little bit about how if Justin Turner was not on a team with a generational first baseman like the Blue Jays with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., then he would probably have more games played at first base, but because of the fact that he's on a team with Vlad, he doesn't have a ton of games played at first base. Although last year, he had 98 games at DH, 41 at first base, and 10 at second base. Probably not a great idea. But overall, Justin Turner, probably a DH first baseman for the Mariners. And these numbers are not really that inspiring for me. His bat speed is in the first percentile. He has one of the slowest bat speeds in all of baseball, but he doesn't strike out and he makes contact. So I guess if the Mariners need that, that's great. In my opinion, this is a bench bat. This is a guy that the Mariners didn't necessarily need, but a guy that makes the bench better. The return here is R.J. Schreck that Ryan Divish had tweeted out. Joe and I were kind of wondering who it was going to be. Divish also said the Mariners probably aren't done, so very important to note there. Now, Schreck is the Mariners' 29th ranked prospect. He's in Arkansas right now, hitting 143, 294, 250, just in 8 games with Arkansas. But in Everett, he hit 261, 401, 464 with a 865 OPS on the season. In my opinion, R.J. Schreck is just a guy. I don't really know. I didn't really have a whole lot of expectations for him. He's no different, in my opinion, than like a quad A outfielder at the highest level with guys like Cade Marlowe and Jonathan Clase, etc. Honestly, R.J. Schreck, in my opinion, isn't that big of a deal. Divish goes on to mention that the pickup of Justin Turner makes it seem like a pivot and that Vlad isn't available. And that's what we've been hearing pretty much this entire trade deadline, is that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just isn't available from the Toronto Blue Jays. Unfortunately, it's starting to seem like that is actually true. I don't expect to see him traded by the deadline tomorrow. So Turner signed a $13 million deal with the Blue Jays at the beginning of this season, meaning he's probably down to like a $5.5 million or so left on the season for the Mariners to take on. Assuming they take on that whole contract, that's probably why they didn't have to give up a bit of a bigger return for Justin Turner. Again, I don't think he would have been worth that much, but nonetheless, probably about $5.5 million here added to the Mariners payroll. Ty Dang Gonzalez mentioned this, and I just wanted to bring it up here. Since June 1st, Justin Turner's hitting 299, 399, 396 with a 134 WRC plus. And as Ty says, yeah, that'll play. Interesting to note here that Divish mentions the Blue Jays are playing in Baltimore, so Justin Turner could be here tomorrow. All in all, in my opinion, this isn't a huge ad for the Mariners. We were all saying they need to go out there and make another trade for a bigger bat than Randy, but it sounds like these guys might not be available. Vladdy sounds like he's not available, and Luis Robert sounds like he's also not available, and the White Sox don't want to trade him. So the two biggest bats might be off the market at the trade deadline this year, so the Mariners pivoted and went out and got a guy who, with veteran leadership, he doesn't strike out, makes a fair amount of contact. He's not going to be a generational hitter, but he adds a ton of what it sounds like anyway, a ton of veteran leadership and a guy who's been there and done that. Is Justin Turner your everyday first baseman from here on out? I really don't know. I would assume that Locklear gets sent down or traded in another deal later on today. Again, Ryan Divish did say the Mariners probably aren't done, so by the time I'm editing this, or by the time this goes up, the Mariners might have made another move. But nonetheless, Justin Turner is now a Seattle Mariner. I would assume that he plays on a semi-regular basis. It's not going to take at-bats away necessarily from Mitch Garver, but it does make the need for Mitch Garver to be an everyday DH a little bit lower on the list of things for the Mariners they need to worry about the rest of this season. I think that Justin Turner makes a fair bit of sense at first base. The Mariners still need to go out there and add more, like Divish said. I would assume that would either be another outfielder or a guy that can play shortstop in J.P. Crawford's absence, because Dylan Moore's just not going to do it. This offensive addition, does that make the Mariners like favorites to win the West? Absolutely not. Again, the Mariners need to go out there and make one more big move, in my opinion, but this does help. Adding a guy like Justin Turner helps nonetheless, because again, he's better than Tyler Locklear. He's better than whoever else you were going to throw over there at first base, Dylan Moore at first base, etc. He is, if nothing else, a placeholder until the Mariners can really go try to make a move this offseason when acquiring a guy like Justin Turner. If he can even swing it to somewhat of his career norms, which isn't going to happen because, again, he's 39, but if he can just be a guy that provides a little bit for this team over the next 60 or so games, I think that Justin Turner does make a ton of sense. We'll have to wait and see kind of what the follow-up moves are here, because I think there will be a few more. With that being said, adding Justin Turner helps his team here and now. Hopefully we get to see him tomorrow, and hopefully the Mariners make some more moves later on today. Friendly reminder, we will have a big, long, like 6-hour live stream tomorrow covering everything from the MLB trade deadline, so be sure to have notifications on for that. Be sure to subscribe to the channel as well, because you want to be here for all the notifications that we're going to be bringing to you tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching this one, and go Mariners.